Yeah, welcome to another edition of Tailgate Talks with the New Hampshire Division of Forests and Lands. My name is Kyle Lombard. This is Bill Davidson, and the director behind the scenes that's holding the smartphone is Ryan Crandall. All three of us are forest health specialists in the forest health program, and we work on pests and pathogens and things that kill trees all across the state. And today, this particular episode will be about our thoughts on treating ash trees with pesticides to protect against trees dying from emerald ash borer. Bill, give a little description of our statewide project for ash treatments and where are we at with that project?
All right, yeah, so we 3 years ago initiated a project where our goal was to treat pockets of about a dozen forested ash in forests across the state, with the goal of kind of creating little refugia for ash trees so that they could survive the wave of emerald ash borer attack. And this way we're able to keep some small pockets of ash alive on the landscape, and those pockets are going to kind of allow those trees to continue to provide the ecological benefits that ash trees provide, as well as preserving local genetic diversity and producing seeds to replenish the seed bank and jumpstart the next generation of ash after emerald ash borer moves through the area and we enter what we call an aftermath forest. And so I guess we have, I said it's a 3-year project. We just finished our 3rd year. We have 86 of these sites established, and we plan to establish 14 more in the northern part of the state as emerald ash borer moves up that way. And so far, pretty much every single tree that we've treated has survived and is healthy now. The trees are healthy when they're treated. They survive and do great.
Whenever I get a chance to talk about this project, I try to describe this project of saving these trees in the context of like chestnut blight. Imagine if we had the ability 100 years ago to protect 100 sites from chestnut blight. And how cool would that be to have those 100 protected sites today for seed sources and for science, and to start trying to get chestnut back out in the forest. So that's what we're doing with ash, with pesticides. And so with pesticides, there's a couple of different options. There's many different pesticides that are labeled for emerald ash borer that you could use legally. At this point, there's a lot of experience with pesticides, and there's a lot of studies on efficacy out there. And we feel like the only one that is worth the cost of doing it is any products with emamectin benzoate in it, and we do a systemic application of the pesticide. There are some products like Transect, which is a dinotefuran product, and there are products like imidacloprid products that you could inject. But imidacloprid and dinotefuran have just average efficacy in that when EAB is really heavy in the stand, it's not going to protect the tree. The only pesticide that's proven 100% proven to completely 100% for sure protect the ash is a product with emamectin benzoate, and that's the active ingredient. The two products that we use with emamectin benzoate in it is mectinite, and we also use Triage. Those are the two trade names, but they're both 4% emamectin benzoate products. There actually is, believe it or not, an organic option, triazine. Azadirachtin is the active ingredient. It is actually labeled organic. The issue with that is that it only has the efficacy of the dinotefuran products. You still have to treat every year instead of every 2 or 3 years, and it just has average efficacy along the lines of dinotefuran products and imidacloprid products. So we just prefer, if we're going to spend the money on chemical treatments, we want to choose the one that works the best. So this is how we do it. This is the systemic equipment that we happen to use. This is an ArborJet QuickJet Air. There are other pieces of equipment out there that do similar things. This one, for our purposes, carrying it out in the woods and treating under conditions that might not be ideal, like cloudy conditions or rainy conditions. When we have to do the plot, we can't really just wait for the best conditions. And a lot of the other products rely on having really good weather so that the tree is transpiring. They're plugless systems, and so you have to wait for the tree to take up the pesticide. Whereas with this system, we actually are going to put a plug in the tree, and that plug is going to allow us to deliver the pesticide behind the plug in the pocket that we drilled with the drill, and the tree can take the pesticide when it wants it. And so once this plug is in the tree, the needle goes into the one-way valve. We'll turn the machine on. It'll deliver the pesticide behind the plug. These plugs will stay in the tree. And so far, so good. We've been doing this for probably 6 or 7 years now, and we haven't had any trees that we thought were damaged beyond being healthy from these plugs, from leaving the plugs in. So the trees, when they're healthy, seem to grow over them pretty well, and so it's been a really good system for us. So Bill and I are going to treat this tree right here. This is our little demonstration tree. We cut it off right at the soil, and so that you could see the root flaring, because that determines where you're going to put the plugs. PPEs for this particular product are gloves, long pants, leather boots, eye protection, and long sleeves. And so if you have those, you're good to go. So Bill, why don't you go ahead and treat this tree like it was a tree that we were going to treat.
All right, so I'm going to drill one hole for every inch of diameter of the tree around the base of the tree, right at the root flare. So this is, I would say, a 7-inch tree, so I'll drill 7 holes around the base. So if I was actually treating this tree, I would drill 7 holes around the base, but for demonstration purposes, I'll just do a couple. All right, and then in each of the holes, I'm gonna put one of these plugs. And for initially setting it, I'm just gonna put it in so it's kind of loosely in there, and then Kyle will go through and hammer them in so they set properly.
There's a set tool that comes with the kit. And what we're trying to do is set this plug be just beyond the thin bark into the cambium and into the xylem. So that's what it should look like when the plugs are set. So now I'll bring the equipment, the injector in, and I'll put the needle into the plug. And then if you watch that's 4 milliliters just went into the tree, and we'll do 4 again. So we do 4 milliliters per inch of diameter of the tree. So I just turned the stump. I turned you to show you the base of the tree, to show you what systemic pesticides means. What it's doing is it's running up and down in the xylem, and so it popped out because I had the tree cut off. Obviously, it popped out, and so let's do one more, and we'll see if we can watch it come out right here. Oh. See it right there? It's coming down, it's coming out the xylem. So it takes about, they say about 4 weeks to go from your injection site all the way up to the crown. So it takes, to consider the tree protected, it takes about 4 weeks to get it all up in there. Tyler Everett asked a really good question the other day that I wanted to make sure that we remembered to answer. the question about toxicity of this wood in this treated tree years after we've treated it. So if somebody wanted to use this ash tree for making pack baskets or wanted to make woodworking projects out of this tree, great question. And I actually had to go to a PhD student at UNH who's been studying this exact thing. Bree Afflag has been studying the fate of emamectin benzoate both in the tree and in the environment for the last couple of years. And so I asked her, and she had a really nice response. And so I'll see if I can paraphrase what she said. After we've treated the tree, at the end of the first year of treatment, the parts per million of this pesticide in the tree runs about 50 parts per million. After year 2, it's a little bit lower, but after year 3, it's down to between 0.1 and 0.3 parts per million of the pesticide in the xylem. And so that's a significant number because the FDA allows 0.2 parts per million in your food. So if they test your lettuce or your carrots, they're allowed to find 0.2 parts per million of emamectin benzoate in your vegetables. And so that's basically, after 3 years, where we're at with the toxicity in a tree. And so she did say that after the first couple of years, if they were taking a tree down that they treated and they were going to peel it, they still used rubber gloves. So, for me, the question is, well, if you're going to treat a tree, would you ever be cutting it down to use it? Because the cost of this pesticides is no joke. Just the cost of the plugs and the pesticide alone runs you around $350 per inch of diameter. And then if you want to start adding in somebody's labor, the equipment costs, your travel costs, you add all of that in, you're up around $10 just to break even per inch of DBH. So a 10-inch tree would be $100 to treat. But that's $100, but you only have to do it every 2 or 3 years to be 100% ensure that the tree is going to live. And so that's not too bad in an urban forest setting or in a setting where you're trying to save a seed source, or if you needed to there was some culturally significant trees to protect. $30 a year is not too bad. And ultimately, there's no other option to keep them alive. We don't, at this point, 20 years of experience in the Midwest and 10 years of experience in New Hampshire, we've not seen any trees that have been hit with EAB make it, survive. Some of the trees on occasion will last a little longer than others, but no trees over 4 or 5 inches in diameter have lived. So, I mean, this is it. This is your option for keeping trees 100% alive. Did I miss anything, Bill?
I think you covered it pretty good.